I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. We got Dina Parise already on the line. We got Pearce sitting on the right-hand side, Elysia Potter in the middle, and then Scott Brown on the far left. And getting ready to talk to Dina. Dina, you want to do a quick introduction about yourself, and then we'll move on from there?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dina Parise. I wield a 2013 Cadillac CTSV Pro Mod, so that would be a 3,000 horsepower Cadillac. In 2015, IHRA Pro Mod World Champion.
So, yes, you just already got to my first question. What was some news that happened this past weekend with you? And that would be that you have been crowned the world champion of the IHRA Pro Mods, and you even have your little tutu on your trophy, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, well, actually, there was a bet that kind of didn't come to fruition with the boys, and I had bought tutus for them. It was for whoever lost the bet how to wear the tutu, but since we won the world championship, I thought that they all needed to wear tutus.
Well, I saw one of your pictures where 3 of the guys had tutus on or something like that.
Yeah, well, those are the only guys I have. I have my husband, Andrew, and my crew guy, Butch Brenzel. I mean, they do it all. And Quayne Stott, who tunes for us. Quayne Stott was 2006 IHRA Pro Mod champion, so it's very nice to have him in our corner.
Cool. Anywho, so earlier when we talked to you in the earlier part of the year, you thought you weren't going to be able to do a full season, and all of a sudden it looks like you were able to.
Well, we really dug in. I mean, there were a few times this season where we were like, we just can't do this anymore. But we just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. We really wanted to see this car get down the track, make a show. It still didn't perform as well as we wanted to. We didn't perform as well as we wanted to. And that's probably a competitive nature too, is you always feel like you can do better. So, you know, we're looking forward to the 2016 season. I know there's more in store for this car, so it'll be a lot of fun to get it back out there. Now,
is this the division you actually started out, or did you already have a division that you started racing in beforehand?
Initially, I had gone to Frank Hawley Drag Racing School, and I got my super gas license. When Andrew built, Andrew and I used to be a 2-car Pro Mod team. When he built the 53 Pro Mod, we had the 57 Camaro, which I had hopped into, and drove that for about a season and a half, almost 2 seasons, and decided that I wanted something a little bit more challenging, so
you can ask questions,
I wound up in a Pro Mod. So we had 2 Pro Mods.
Dina, we've got as one of our guests tonight a young teenage young lady racer who is probably trying to get up the ladder very much like you did. Why don't you, if you don't mind, and this is not a sexist comment, it's just fact, why don't you tell the young lady who's sitting with us tonight what sort of things you had to do coming up through your racing that maybe a male driver doesn't have to put up with, and any advice you can give to her, because you're in what, junior high school now? High school?
Middle school. Middle school.
She's in middle school. You got to speak up.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give her some advice. Give her some advice on what you went through and what. And she's pretty good at what she does, but she can always take some advice.
Okay. What's your first name?
Elysia.
Elysia. Hi, Elysia. Well, okay. First thing is, I probably have socks older than you, but here's the thing about the whole male-female thing. Is keep it out of your mind. All you want to do is remember that you want to be a good driver, and you want to be known as a good driver. Yeah, are you female? Sure. Am I female? Sure. I'm a little older than you, so I will make the statement. Do women look a little better in a 5-suit? Sure, maybe. But in the scheme of things, I want you to remember that you're a driver first and foremost. And that's going to bring you through. So how you conduct yourself and how you drive, whatever it is that you drive, and you just make sure that, and I always tell all the young girls too, don't do anything compromising. You always see all of this funky stuff on social media with the girls with the duck lips and the bra photos and all that stuff. And, I just say don't ever compromise your integrity and just keep yourself going, keep that nose to the grindstone, and it'll happen.
Was there a particular moment, Dina, when you were coming up, was there a particular moment or a race or a round where you felt like, you know what, it's time I show these people they can't push me around? I mean, did you ever reach a point where your patience ran out with people kind of giving you a hard time because you're a woman?
I have to be honest, it hasn't really happened with me. I mean, and I think that comes too from how you conduct yourself a lot of times. I've been very blessed that I've never had an issue. One time, this is funny, this was pretty recent, and I had a gentleman that came up, because every ticket's a pit pass in drag racing, which is great, and they happen to be able to get into the staging lanes, and this gentleman came up in the staging lane. He came up to me and said to me, well, honey, don't you think that's a little bit too much car for you? And I said, well, considering it's my second one and this one has more power than the first one did, I'll say no. So he then proceeded to start talking horsepower and this and that, and he really kind of, I had no idea what he was talking about. I gave him the freedom. I let him say what he wanted to say, and that was fine. And then he proceeded to refer to my supercharger as Procharger, and that was when I said, okay, I think I might have to put the smack down on this one for just a moment. And, I told him, I said, I could put you in the and start it up, but one whop on that throttle is going to send you home crying to your mama. And his friends got a chuckle out of it, and he just kind of shook his head and walked away and realized, I said, the car doesn't know if we're male or female. And really, I have to say that, my competitors, they don't really care that I'm a woman. They just care that they want to turn the wind light on just as much as I do. So.
Well, I have a question for you. How did you get into racing?
It's a good question. That's a funny story. It goes back to the 67 Camaro with my husband. The very first time I went to a drag race, I had never been to a drag race. I had seen it on TV. I'd never been to one live. The very first one I went to was at Maple Grove, and it was for Super Chevy. And it was to watch my husband race the 67 Camaro in a bracket class. And I just fell in love with the sport. I fell in love with everything about it. I love the family atmosphere. I love the camaraderie. And I love the fact that the fans are actually part of the experience by being right there in the pit area. I mean, that's great stuff. So at IHRA, with Crower Pro Mod this year, thank you to Crower again for sponsoring the series. IHRA, the fans had a great time. Everybody kind of gets to see these big beast cars up close and personal, and they get to see, and we get to talk about our marketing partners as well. We didn't race last year because Stella was being built, and companies like NGK, CRC, LAT, and USA Auto Supply, they stuck with us through not racing. So, and then this year we had DJ Safety and Stainless Works, Speedwire, Hoosier, all these companies, Motorsports Unlimited, all of these companies that really helped us this year get through this process. And like I said, we thought about giving up because we had some frustrating moments, but, we really didn't want to because we had people counting on us.
You got more? Throw it in there.
Let's see. Did you have to do very well in school to get where you are?
Well, that would be a good question. Okay, when I was younger, I was a figure skater. So if I did poorly in school, my mom said, if I didn't do well in school, I wasn't allowed to skate. So that was how I made sure that I did well in school. That was the thing. I was a little bit older. I actually was in my 30s when I began drag racing. So It wasn't so much doing well in school, but I did have to, you know, juggle my full-time job and my racing all at the same time.
Now, let me ask you a question about this past weekend in Memphis. Now, you went into that race as the point leader, correct?
I did, yeah.
Okay. You knew what you had to do to win the championship. You knew how many rounds. You kind of had figured out what had to be done. I've often wondered whether it's more difficult trying to race to a particular point, or just say, forget about points, forget about rounds, we're going to go as hard as we can, and at the end of the weekend, if we're the champion, fine. If we're not, no big deal. Or big deal, but that's the way it goes. Did you race all out like it was any other event? Or did you sort of drive or race hoping to get to that championship clinching round?
You know, Clay Milliken does the announcing for IHRA, and Clay had asked me a very similar question, and I said to Clay, this was before I won the championship, I said to him, you know what, I do want to go out there and have fun, and it needs to be any other race for me right now. I need to take the pressure off of myself, not think about it, and just go into it as any other race. And then after I won the championship, he interviewed me again, and he said, well, how do you feel? And I said, well, the pressure's off now. He goes, I thought you told me there was no pressure. I said, well, I guess you try to tell yourself that there isn't any, and you try not to focus on the pressure and focus on what can happen. You know, I didn't want to go this round by round thing in my head. You know, if I win this round, if I do this, if I do that, because it would have totally blown my concentration. You know, I was able to treat my opponents what I set out to do, and except for Billy Harper in the last race. But you know, when it counted, I was right there and had them at the tree. I was able to keep my focus. It was really, and it was hard. It was hard, but I did have to try to convince myself that it was just like any other race.
The reason I asked that question is that Matt Kenseth, who finished almost last at Charlotte on Sunday, is now almost hopelessly out of the NASCAR chase. But he said the other day in an interview that he's going to approach Kansas just like it was any other Kansas race. He wasn't going to worry about points. He was going to race to win. And he said, after that, we'll go to Talladega, and we'll approach every race the same way. We won't worry about points, we'll worry about winning, which apparently is the same approach you took.
Yeah, and secondly to that, I really wanted to win the race.
Right, yeah.
You know, at night, the dew had set in, and I was having a big issue with the windows fogging up in the car, and you know, things happen. I'm not blaming it on anybody. IHRA does a phenomenal job with track prep and giving us a safe place to race. So it's not any commentary on them. It was what it was. So, you know, we're looking forward now to next year. And of course, I think that's harder. Once you do win the championship, then it's harder to go in as the champion and try to hang on to it.
The guy who finished second in the race itself, Tommy Glidden, is that his name?
No, in the race or the championship?
In the race itself.
In the race itself, that's Billy Glidden.
Billy, is that, I'm sorry, is that Bob Glidden's son or grandson maybe?
Sure is, it's his son.
It's his son, okay.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I saw that.
And let me tell you, they're like us. They're pretty small. I mean, you know, everybody thinks that because he's got that name behind him that there's this big hoo-ha, but, you know, they're like, it's him and his wife, just like it's me and my husband. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of us who are kind of digging in there to make things happen. Because
when Bob Glidden was running the NHRA Pro Stock, he won everything. I mean, he was as good as anybody's ever been. And it just surprised me that
his son is just as good.
Okay, good. Any more questions?
I don't think so.
Dina, this is Scott Brown. I think my son was on the last time you were on the show, and he asked you some questions. But so as we had talked earlier, and Roger was asking you about, you know, sponsorship and piecing things together and being able to run enough of the season this year. how is winning the championship now going to help you survive and possibly put together a good package for next year?
Well, it remains to be seen, of course. I am hoping that, you know, having that world championship next to my name is going to be helpful. You know, I came from an entertainment background. I skated for Ice Capades for years, and you know, I'm a big believer in. I don't want to say I'm not corporate, but I'm a big believer in having a personality out there and having. You know, I made my guys wear tutus, and you know, my marketing partners are so fantastic with us, and we always make sure that, you know, we do for them what we need to do for them, which is the most important part. You know, we want to be able to sell on Monday, quote unquote, and you know, it's just going to come down to who's interested. You know, surely the female thing is fantastic because, you know, we're not an anomaly, but we do tend to get a little bit more attention. So, and, you know, the Cadillac is beautiful. So, you know, well, hey, we'll see what happens. Hopefully there'll be some people that will be looking at us now and realize that we are a force to reckon with.
I think it'd make a nice GM commercial to have you pose there by your car, you know, maybe selling a new Cadillac that's out this year. So maybe that would...
I think so, too.
Yeah, the fact that you're a female racer and a world champion really can be a two-edged sword because you get more attention, but if you do bad or if something happens, you immediately get more criticism. Is that kind of the way it goes?
that is the double edge to that sword. Yeah, you do find a lot of times if something happens that women in the sport may get targeted a little bit more easily than the men. But you know what? Unfortunately for them, I use stuff like that just to fuel me, so it's okay. It's kind of the nature of the beast. So, you know, you can't let it rent space in your brain.
Hey Dina, one of the online questions I had for you, somebody popped up here. Who did you look up to when you were coming up through your racing career?
I have to say Bunny Burkett. Bunny Burkett, I are friends. She's my mentor. She's my inspiration. She was 1986 Funny Car World Champion in IHRA. I have a handwritten note from her in the driver's side door of my car. So I read it before every run, put my hand on it, and you know, I sent her a note after this win to you know, to thank her for everything that she's done for me, and she's definitely an inspiration. She's a great lady.
Now, did you have some snake involvement the other day?
Did I have what?
A snake involvement the other day.
Oh, the cooler?
No, Don. Didn't you say Don Prudhomme gave you a call?
No. Erica Enders sent me a really... you said snake. Sorry, my head went somewhere else. Erica Enders... there was never mind. There was a cooler in the lanes, and they had put a snake inside of it, and they were offering people water, and the snake was jumping out. So that's what I was thinking of. But no, Erica Enders had sent me, well, Erica Enders, Bunny. I've gotten messages from them. I've gotten messages from a ton of racers, you know, especially the females. My friend Carol Long, who also runs a pro mod. You know, it's been, the outpouring has been fantastic, you know, just to get messages from the Laganas and Mimoni, and it's been insane, really has.
Well, I tell you what, you've traveled a long way from ice skates all the way up into what you've done now. Proud of what you've been able to accomplish, I'm sure, as I feel that way about you as well. Let me go ahead and let
Thank you so much.
Shout out to your sponsors, and we'll go ahead and let you go back because I know you got another interview coming up here in a little bit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And sure, we'll give them a roll again. NGK, today. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here, as I said, staring at one of my championship spark plugs. T Racing Oils, DJ Safety, CRC Auto, USA Auto Supply, keeps us nice and shiny, Stainless Works, Speedwire, Hoosier, Rob Built, Stella, Motorsports Unlimited, and I do want to give a shout out to Bruce Mullins, Paint by Bruce Mullins. Bruce, after the car went into the sand at US 131, we had duct taped the front. Yeah, we had duct taped the front, and
we'll go the other way.
Went to Canada with the duct tape, and then Bruce took it back and fixed it for us before the finals, so she looked all nice and pretty for the finals.
I've got one last question before I go. I'm looking at a photograph here of you and your husband. That is the ugliest dog I have ever seen.
He has his own Twitter account too.
I guess it's a dog. You know. I mean, seriously. That is an ugly ass dog.
That is wrong.
Her name is Bella. That's Bella the Wonder Pug. She actually has a Twitter page, which is @ProModBella. She has a blog on the website. She will be 14 this month, so she's been around, you know, just about as long as this race team.
Okay.
And it's funny because fans come into the pit area and they want to see Bella.
Phew. Okay.
Al, you just got on the bad side of her.
No, it just caught me. I'm thinking, there's a lovely lady and her husband and a big trophy and an ugly ass dog. And I wasn't quite sure of that. Anyway.
Now,
okay.
Now, next year you're gonna have to let us know. You go up to oh shoot, what's the place up there?
Dinwiddie?
Dinwiddie. You go to Dinwiddie to race too, don't you?
No, they don't go there anymore.
I do. I will let everyone know we are trying to make PDRA next week. It's actually their world final race. So we're trying to make it just to get the race in. VMT is actually, believe it or not, our home track. We've been testing there for years. So we have a huge fan base there and people that want to come and see us. So we're trying to make that race, which is next week.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and let you get out of here, Dina.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you. Sorry about the dog. Sorry about the dog comment.
That's all right. PETA will be after him. Don't worry about it.
Teach that dog how to take a leak on Al's leg or something.
Right.
I'm just gonna have her bite your ankles the next time she sees you.
All right. See you later, girl.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. God, that's an ugly dog.
Oh gosh.
That ain't Lassie, I'm telling you. Dog ain't Lassie.
Yeah, I was checking it out today. I saw the dang burned dog had its own Twitter account.
It's funny that Bob Glidden's kid runs in that series and not in the NHRA where Bob was such a force for so many years.
Well, some of the time when we've talked to some of the girls in the drag racing, some of the pay scales are different. The IHRA apparently is a little bit nicer than NHRA. The NHRA, the only time you'll get any TV time is unless you're in the top.
Well, but they get TV time though. The other guys don't get much. So anyway.
Anywho, Elysia's turn now.
All right.
You get to interview her, Al. That's your next interview.
I don't know what to ask. I don't know nothing about this stuff.
Her?
No. All right, Elysia Potter. You know you were not one of my wife's favorite students. She said you talk too much. And I don't believe it because you're not talking tonight.
Aww.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding with you like I was kidding with her about the dog.
I was saying, Al was ripping on the dog and then he's throwing the guest under the bus with Dad sitting in the corner
Dad, just
there.
reach
Now
over and
Dad's
bump him. You know that you watch NCIS. Give him a slap.
Al's in the mood tonight, I'm telling you.
Yeah. My wife was her grade school art teacher at Carver Elementary, right?
Yes.
Way back 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
Yeah,
Whatever.
That class was fun.
I don't remember how long ago it was. Anyway, tell the people, you got to speak up now because this is your deal. Tell our vast audience of 11 exactly what's going to happen with you and Rev Racing and the Bandolero program that you're going to go in Charlotte next week?
Yes.
Coming up soon?
Well, I'm trying out again for
Okay.
the combine, and hopefully I get back in. I already got back
That's
into
not
the
counting
combine. I
the
had to try
video
out again.
people
So
live
hopefully this
streaming
time I can
non-Periscope.
pick up some speed and get back in.
Okay. Now, what is the combine involved? Tell me how many days, how many laps, where will you be, how many people will be there? Give me the whole, pretend I don't know anything about it, which is sort of true. But no. I know about the combine at Langley. Is it kind of the same deal?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I've never been to Concord before, so it's going to be kind of tricky for me to drive that track. I've heard it's an okay track to drive, but
It's obviously the quarter-mile little
Yes.
track. It's not the mile and a half, obviously. Okay.
I think it's got a little more bank than Langley to it.
yes.
So
Just a little quarter-mile inside, though,
Yeah.
right? There's not a whole lot of banking.
no, actually, so Concord is not at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Concord is its own freestanding track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like
I
across the
didn't know
street,
that.
kitty
Mhm.
corner, so to speak.
Mhm.
There's your favorite dog you're out.
Yeah, right.
I've already had people talking about it. They're going to remember you for saying that dog thing.
I've seen it ugly with those help with that goggles on.
I think he looks cool now.
You would. Oh, by the way,
Yes.
ask your people on Periscope. I'm looking for a Jeff Gordon fan.
Any Jeff Gordon fans out there on Periscope?
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Seriously.
My magazine wants me to talk to one fan, one diehard, love him Jeff Gordon fan about why they love him. So if you can get somebody that
There's
I can
only
call
5 in the
later or
world.
whatever.
That's going to be hard to find.
There's only 5 in the
You're
world,
asking
okay?
Well, I just need one of those 5 then. Anyway,
So
tell me
nobody
more
out there
about
is a
your
Jeff Gordon
combine.
fan. Oh, well.
It's Concord Motor Speedway. Is that the name of the place?
Yes.
That's all right.
Okay.
Dan.
How big a track? I mean,
I've never been there before, so
Okay.
I don't really know yet.
do you have any idea?
Yeah, you
I
have
think
an
it's
idea.
they say it's a quarter-mile track, just like Charlotte Motor
It's a
Speedway, but I heard
okay.
it's a little bit more banking.
Okay.
I heard it's a little smoother of a ride too. But
Okay.
Yeah, you
I
can
think so.
definitely YouTube or whatever, search out some videos and check out the track.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you can take a look at it, and there'll be some in-car camera stuff
Okay.
to take a look.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
even think to do that.
Stuff that people have used their GoPro and making laps and all that. So you can kind of Google those races and get some videos or search them out on Facebook or whatever.
It's a
it may be.
half-mile track.
How big?
Half-mile track. I got Concord Speedway up here on the...
There's also a quarter mile though.
There's a
There are
quarter
2
mile.
tracks.
It's the little track in the back, right
yeah,
there.
it must be the one in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one in the
they
back.
They wouldn't put their cars on a half
Uh-huh.
mile.
Yeah.
Okay.
They say it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And how many days will you be down there?
I think that I'm going to go down there and do some practices first,
Okay.
and then I have to come back to Langley because I have to bring my car to Langley Speedway.
Okay.
And I think we're going to give out candy and stuff on the 31st, and I have to go right back to Concord. And
You say 31st?
the 31st I have to go to Langley Speedway, and
That's
I think they're doing like a costume party thing
It's
down
a
there.
Halloween
costume.
event for the
Halloween, yeah, we
neighborhood
got
kids
lots of
to
it on
It's,
YouTube.
walk the track
Over
and
300
collect candy
videos
from
now.
They're, they're having the Outlaw 1940 to AM the Outlaw. Or
Okay.
1490.
Yeah,
It's,
the radio, uh-huh.
They're putting on a concert at Langley.
Oh, they
I
are.
think it's 4 or 5 bands. You're gonna have costume contests.
Okay, nice.
The kids get in free, and they give them bags of
Okay.
candy or bags so they come in
Candy?
and go trick or treat.
Yeah.
All the drivers and the cars.
Al,
over there.
they'll
Okay.
probably have plenty of candy for you at Martinsville.
Oh, that's right. I'll be at Martinsville, won't I?
Yes.
That's my birthday weekend. How can they do that?
It's your birthday weekend.
Friday's my birthday.
So
weekend.
will there be?
On the
Do you know if
30th,
there'll
huh?
be heat races
31st.
and then
30th.
like a main race and all that, and then how do they actually determine whether they're going to pick you up as they did this year?
Well, you just go out there, you do a couple warm-up laps like I did last year. I'm guessing that's going to be the same thing.
Okay.
But
almost like a European qualifying kind of thing, or?
Yeah, you go out there and you kind of just go out there and they see your time and everything. And but actually they see how you are off the track. Like what you do to prepare and how you prepare yourself for everything.
Oh wow! So you're kind of really being put under a spotlight then a little bit, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is sort of like what they do out here. The people that come to the diversity or the combine at Langley, they spend a half a day or maybe a day at Hampton University learning, like the drag racing lady said about social media, what not to do, how not to embarrass yourself. So it sounds like it's a whole lot like the thing that they do when they come here. Media, talking to people. I always tell people, and I've noticed, Roger, I've noticed that more drivers now are taking off their sunglasses when the camera comes on. I don't mean just down the line some. Kozlowski did it Sunday. Kurt Busch did it Sunday. Of course, Carl Edwards always does it. So maybe the word's getting around.
Hey, they're watching our shows.
Well,
hearing you tell these young kids, you need to take them classes off during interviews.
Yeah. Right. But if a TV guy or a reporter ever comes up to you for an interview and you got on your sunglasses, take them off. I don't care how bright it is. I don't care how dark it is. Take them off. Because, believe me, I've been doing this a long time.
Eye contact.
The guy talking to you looks at you with glasses on and thinks, what is she hiding? What are her eyes not saying?
Yeah, what kind of emotion is she showing underneath them glasses?
Exactly. If she's
angry, is she bored and looking off to the left
it doesn't. Right, yeah, right. She's looking. Oh God, what kind of question was that? Just take off your glasses.
Somebody also asked you the same question they asked Dina. Who did you look up to, or who are you looking up to as you're going through your racing career?
I actually was looking up to Annabeth Barnes. I watched her movie Racing Dreams, and I love that movie so much. I watch it like all the time. She went from a go-kart to this big car, and I've always wanted to do that, and she got into rev racing. And that's been my main goal is rev racing, and now my other main goal is trying to get anti-bullying into schools, because it's occurring more and more, it seems like, bullying in these schools, and I just really don't like it. I try to help some people. Like today, actually at school, this girl, I felt really bad for her. She was in a corner crying, and I went over to her and I asked her if there's anything I could do. And it's just so sad because, you don't have any time, they're switching classes and stuff. I tried to help her, but sometimes, they don't really want to talk to you or anything. So, like my dad told me to do, see, I'm still a kid too, so I'm not really sure what to do. But, my dad told me to give her my number and tell her if she wants to talk, she can call me whenever.
Give me a ring, you dingy.
That's great.
Hey, what was it? Now, what'd you ask her? You saw her in the corner, and what'd you ask her?
Are you okay? Is there anything that you want to talk
you
about?
didn't say that. The first time you told the story a second ago, the first thing you said to her, I think, was the right thing to say. I don't remember what it was. But no. But you didn't say.
I'm not setting for instant replays, Al.
What you didn't say, according to your first story, was you did not say, "Are you okay?"
Did she say something like, "Do you need some help?" or something like that?
Yes, you need help.
You need help.
Yeah. That's the right thing to say.
Okay.
Because my daughter, who is now 26 and is a social worker in Roanoke, says when you approach somebody who's in distress and you say to them, "Are you okay?" Of course they're not okay. If they were okay, I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be in the corner crying if I were okay.
Every Wednesday,
but that's good.
Family holiday.
Can I help you? Anything I can do for you? What kind of
Then we take
that's good.
But
like my daughter keeps saying, if you ask them, "Are you okay?" they'll say the easiest thing they can say is, Yeah, I guess so, because they want you to kind of leave them alone.
Good.
But if you say, can I help you? What can I help you with? Tell me what's your problem. They'll talk to you, and you can create a dialogue. If you just say, you okay? They'll say, no, I'm okay. I'll be all right.
Because you can watch it either through Periscope.
Remember that. That was good.
I wonder if you could get teacher support. Maybe go to your favorite teacher.
You can go to Let's Talk Racing
and just say that you want to put together a group of students your age that want to talk about bullying, and then what they can do to help kids when they're running across that problem at school, and there be like a group of kids that someone can go to at any time when they're having an issue. They know which kids are in this group that's supporting, you know, students that are being bullied, and so it would give them somebody, one of their peers, that they could go to and say, I'm having an issue, you know, can you help me out? And then they can help that student any way they need.
Of the Periscope.
You know, I'm just thinking maybe that'd be something you could talk to one of your teachers about that.
To on the main screen for them to watch,
just to see
monitoring.
Because there's always strength in numbers, and if you have a group of kids your age that are willing to speak out about bullying and that want to support kids that are being bullied, then that gives that kid that is kind of on the spot and being bullied daily someone to go to for support, and then a group of people that are going to say, hey, look, don't worry about it. We're here. We're going to be your friend. You know, we're going to help you through it. So I think you should reach out to a teacher and tell them you want to put together a group of supporters, you know, that gives the kids somewhere to go when they need help.
Yes, but also the problem with that is some kids that are getting bullied, they are too scared to go to people. So sometimes, like, you can notice, like, if people are feeling upset, you can go, like, sometimes I go to them. They don't, some kids, like, that are getting bullied, though, they don't really want to open up about it. So when you're trying to talk to them, it's kind of hard. So,
just a second.
You just want to try and encourage people to, you know, go to, like, the guidance counselor or something. You just have to do the best.
It's harder to go to an adult because you're not sure.
Christmas time, because
in a way you don't want to make the situation worse. And that's why I'm thinking with some teacher support, but having peers
start looking at me.
To talk to, or to say, you know, I've got a problem. I need to talk to you, and then you can relay the information to somebody else.
Age 9, you know, can already start racing.
Maybe find some support or help for that person.
Kids out there racing karts, 3 and 4 years old.
It'd be easier to tell you, one of their peers, than it would be to say, okay, you need to go see the guidance counselor. Well, now I got to sit down and rat somebody out, and I got to, you know, probably going to make the situation worse, versus having somebody to go to almost as anonymous and just say, you know, this is what's going on, and, you know, I can't figure out a way to make it stop.
Which middle school do you go to?
Crittenton Middle School.
Crittenton, okay. And then for high school, you'll go to?
It depends what high school I go to.
Forward, maybe?
Probably Heritage, maybe.
Heritage, okay. Okay. That's cool. The general question we always ask, particularly young racers, is I mean, how did you do this? Or how did you start? I mean, did you start into it? Did you didn't?
Don't hit me when I say it, but I wasn't even a huge racing fan. My kids got me to a racing fan.
Oh, okay.
It was she fell into it by accident.
How did you actually start racing at? How old were you actually started racing?
I was actually racing in the backyard, probably 6. So
right?
They were racing 4-wheelers.
Yeah, 4-wheelers.
Now, because somebody was asking here also, that said, well, how young can kids actually start racing out there? I know they race karts at a
Hampton Roads Car Club starts at 5 years old.
5 years old? Okay, 5 years old. Yep. That's in a lot of the karting clubs for, I think, Dan, I think you asked that question. Because he's got a 9-year-old son was wanting to know about when's a good time to start him racing.
I'll tell you, it brings your family really close. Your family becomes
when he pops out of mom, throw him into a...
If your family becomes very close when they're a team and are
really
working
small
together.
Part.
Yeah.
So you started at 6 or 7 in your backyard.
Yes.
Racing, driving around in what?
Just regular 4-wheelers. It was not racing 4-wheelers at the time. It was just like, you know, little backyard 4-wheelers.
How did you reach those things?
No, 9's not too late.
Okay. And when did you actually first get in a so-called race vehicle
like a go-kart.
Like a go-kart.
Hey, Lori.
I was actually
No,
9.
I didn't start racing until I was in my 40s.
At first, I went out
And I
there.
raced in NASCAR.
I tried the go-kart, and at first I was just spinning around, and I could not get a grip on the car. And one of my friends, Devin Courtney, got into it, and he was like, "This car is way too loose." So they finally fixed my car, and I went back.
You said Langley?
Yes.
In the Hampton Roads Car Club deal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I finally went back out there, and I actually did pretty good. The first couple races, I wasn't doing too well. I was in the back, but you know that's normal for the first races. But after that, started winning races, and they had to move me up because I was winning so many.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of those things. You win too many races, they kick you up.
Well, that's why Jeff Gordon moved from California to Indiana. That I talked to his stepfather. They were so good from about age 6 or 7 for him to about 14. He was winning. I mean everything.
Everything
he ever entered. I mean every race he was in. Midgets, not midgets, go-karts, quarter midgets, and then he wasn't old enough to run sprint cars, which was the next level up. But they let him test some sprint cars. They let him get in an actual winged sprint car at 13, and he made hot laps quicker than a lot of the
the old timers.
And so they said, well, you can't. You got to be 18 to run these cars legally in California.
Yeah.
And his stepfather said, we're not going to wait 5 years and then get back in one. So they moved to Florida very briefly. Then they went to Indiana, where it apparently out of the womb you could drive a race car. You can drive a race car at age 3 maybe.
By the way, we're still looking for a Jeff Gordon diehard fan.
So they moved to Indiana, and he could immediately, at age 15, start driving wing sprint cars and midgets and Silver Crown cars, and was beating people. He was a national champion while he was still in high school in sprint car, midget, and Silver Crown. So anyway, so he aged out. You aged out. No, you didn't age out. You got too good for the competition.
We'll get them on here.
Is that right?
Al
So
wants
they
to
made
ask
you sort
them
of
some questions for his article
move up?
in Autoweek.
Okay.
Yes.
So as you look at the bandos or what you run now, how much longer do you feel like you'll race a bando, and what do you want to do next?
I actually want to do a legend car, and then the next thing after that, I want to do a late model. I've really been wanting to get into a late model, and my dad's like, one step at a time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Legends is a tough little series, and I think a lot of the guys that come on that talk about Legends, and my son races Legends, seems like a lot of them found that they learned a lot about racing, car control, throttle control, all of that stuff, that they learned a lot while they, spending time with a Legend car. I'm trying to think, I think there's a 12-year-old that is running a late model at Shenandoah Speedway.
Mini.
They
call them Mini, don't they? I've never met them, but I've heard about them.
I'm not that familiar with the person, but I know that I saw the race the most recent race that we were at Shenandoah, which was back a month or so ago. But the kid handled the car well. So, you can dream big.
My other account.
Obviously, a late model is going to take a little more money than a bando, but at the same time, there's no sense in limiting your dreams. Go.
We interviewed somebody that was 13 years old running late models before.
Who did?
We interviewed somebody that was 13 running late models. God, we've interviewed lots of young
Macy Causey, she's 14.
Okay.
Langley.
And she's been dirt model, late model for a while, and then now she's doing the paved track. So I don't know if this was her first. Was this her first year on asphalt?
Yeah.
This was her first year on asphalt.
For a while, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it should be J.J. Haley.
Is it this button? This
yeah, whichever
this
one.
button?
Yeah.
Who is this guy?
Let's talk racing.
How's it going, J.J.?
How you doing?
Good. Do a quick bio about yourself so everybody gets to learn a little bit of something about you quickly.
So, I'm 16, started racing when I was 9 in quarter midget. Worked up to street stars, late models. Arca, K&N trucks.
Okay, that's it? Short list was that quick?
Sure.
What do you, now you're racing what now?
Full-time the K&N E Series.
Okay. And y'all just had your last race at Dover the other day, right?
Yep. Now I'm got a K&N West race in Phoenix, and I got 2 truck races also.
Well, cool. All right. Now that was quick and dirty and nasty. Well, now you've raced at Langley because that's where I met you at the beginning. What did you think of Langley?
Yeah. Langley was a really fun track, to be honest. I really don't like circle tracks, but for some reason that track seems to be just really cool. You know, it's got great pavement, so there's lots of traction. Unfortunately, we got spun out twice by the same person, but didn't have a good finish, but we were running really good, and we're definitely fast there.
Now, you said you started at 9?
Yeah.
We were just having a pretty healthy discussion about what age the youngsters should go out and race, and you're still a youngster. I mean, what do you feel about it? How early do you think somebody should get out there and start racing?
Honestly, I feel like 4 and 5 is a little too early. I don't feel like a child is developed enough to go in a race car at that point. But also, I mean, it's not that fast and coordinated. So, you know, it's kind of a toss-up, really. I figured I got started late compared to all of my fellow competitors. But, I mean, I started at 9, and I feel like I'm on a pretty good track right now. So.
Okay. Now, let's see. Were you racing with Venerini Motorsports at one time?
Yes, I raced 6 races for Venerini Motorsports in 2014.
Okay, yeah, because somebody on Periscope was talking about that, and I figured I'd throw that out there at you. So, who have you been following that you look up to?
My uncle Todd Braun is pretty good friends with Denny Hamlin and Casey Kane, so we talk back and forth a little bit here and there, and they give me advice, and I look up to them. You know, they're both great drivers, respectable. Really don't do anything that's out of the ordinary, but definitely get the job done. So they've been big helps to my career, and definitely look up to them guys.
What sort of timetable do you have, JJ? When at what point do you want to go from K&N to trucks, maybe, or Xfinity? Do you have an actual schedule for when you'd like to be in each series and moving up the ladder?
You know, I like to say I do, but, you know, me only being 16, I can't run a national series until I'm 18, you know? Can't run a full season, so I definitely want to be in the nationwide or truck series by the time I'm 18 in 2017. I get to be 2018 at that point is when I'd be eligible to run a national series full time. So around 2018, I'd like to be in a truck or nationwide full time, definitely.
Is that a realistic goal, or is that sort of your best case scenario?
No, that's the worst case scenario right there.
Oh, okay.
That is definitely ideal or realistic scenario that I could get done.
That's pretty optimistic.
Just out of curiosity, who spun you out up at Dover?
That one's fun. I didn't get finished at Dover.
Do what?
I didn't get spun out at Dover.
Oh, I thought you got spun out at Dover when you were there.
I think he was saying Langley.
Oh, at Langley, okay.
Man, Dover was one of the few races that I didn't get spun out.
Okay. So how did you finish out for the final race? I think you qualified, what, 13th or something like that?
No, when Dover qualifying was rained out and there was no practice, so I started 6th due to points. We fell back to about 19th considering there was no practice, and ended up finishing 6th and 6th in points. So pretty happy with how the season went for what we had. Luck-wise.
So you'll be coming back next year running the same program?
I'm not sure what I'll be doing next year. Definitely a toss-up with my age, so we'll just have to play by
my info
month, I guess, on here, and see what happens.
Yeah.
JJ, this is Scott Brown. There's a lot of young racers out there that are, dreaming and thinking, what's the next series for them. Can you give them any idea about, financially, what kind of commitment it takes, a range, I guess I might say, what it takes to run K&N East?
I couldn't tell you that. My parents kind of keep the financial side to themselves, and I really don't do that part of it, probably for a reason. But no, commitment-wise, like dedication and your own work. I got pulled out of high school and got homeschooled now, so I can be on the road a lot more often. I just got done finishing truck testing in Martinsville yesterday and today, so gotta go back to school tomorrow and next day, and got an off weekend, so gonna do more schoolwork, I guess.
So did you say you have a truck you have a couple of truck races you're going to do this year before the year's out? Yeah,
I did Bristol earlier this year, the Z-Loop 200, I believe.
Okay.
And I got Martinsville October 31st.
Okay.
And I also had the Phoenix race.
Okay, that's good.
Yep, and then next year I'll probably be doing 5, because that's all I really can do with my schedule and my age.
Wait, did you were you going to be going to Martinsville? Somebody I talked to online said they were going to Martinsville.
He said
okay.
He's got a truck race coming up.
Okay.
At Martinsville.
JJ, when you go into those kind of races, say you go to Martinsville, it's your second, I guess, and is it your last truck race of the year?
No, I'm doing Phoenix.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, out near In-N-Out Burger.
Oh my God!
Just to go to Phoenix, get In-N-Out Burger.
Definitely, that sounds good.
See, some of the people in this room have never been there. They don't know what they're missing, and they think when I talk about In-N-Out Burgers, and I'm like, I've got two heads. They're pretty good, aren't they?
You gotta get a T-shirt from like the state.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's almost worth going to Phoenix to get a In-N-Out Burger. Anyway,
I don't go to Phoenix for the race. I go for the In-N-Out Burger.
There you go.
You and Al need to get together, then, and y'all would have a great time sitting up there in the parking lot like the two guys from Sonic on the commercial.
But my serious question is this: do you look at those truck races as an audition, or do you figure it's more of a learning experience? And if you do well, fine. If you don't do well, nobody expects a whole lot. I mean, how do you approach those next two races?
I feel like with the truck situation, you almost have to do good. If you screw up in any sort of way, then everyone's going to look at that. And I don't care if you're learning or not. There's always going to be someone else that is supposed to be learning, but goes out and wins. So, I definitely got to try my hardest, and my crew guys have to too, and I feel like
that's what you have
if it's
to
my
do.
first truck race or my 50th truck race, I should be able to have a shot for the win. Just because in the sport today, that's what you have to do.
Okay.
Did you like taking the pole at Elko Speedway in Minnesota?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience with the Henry bunch and an ARCA car. I think that was my second ARCA start.
Yeah, I had somebody apparently knew about that and already was asking that question for you from online.
And who is putting the truck ride together for you? Who are you with for the truck?
Todd Braun owns it. It's Braun Motorsports.
Okay.
He's probably the ARCA cars with this year.
What number truck is that?
32, Great Clips Chevrolet.
Okay, nice. We'll have to make sure we check those races out.
Definitely. It's a lot of fun. I like the truck.
Yeah, in Martinsville, I think you'll get your money's worth out of that one because that's a close racing track, and the Truck Series has a reputation for being the better racing of the three series out there. That's the one that people look at and say, it's kind of like old school racing. So I think you'll get your money's worth out of that one.
Probably. I somehow came out of Bristol with a 14th place finish and not literally scratched on the truck. So probably not going to be that lucky tomorrow.
That won't be the case at Martinsville. Yes. I guess you got to stay off the curb and don't dive bomb. You know, going into the turns. I think that's usually when guys do the synchronized spin out.
I just spent 20 hours testing there, and that curve can just tear up the splitter, and then, you know, your straightaway speed's gone. And it's crazy how, like, the littlest difference makes the biggest difference in the whole spectrum.
Who did you talk to out there to give you some tips at Martinsville today?
My crew chief, Mark McFarland, pretty much
Oh, good old Mark.
gave me advice. So there really wasn't anybody I could really talk to there. Timothy Peters was there. Spencer Gallagher and Brandon Jones were. Me and Brandon chatted for a little bit, but other than that, just kind of figured it out on my own.
And Timothy would have been a good one to go talk to. He's usually not afraid to talk to upcoming drivers. I've known him for a while.
Yeah, he's a really good driver.
Now, where do you live right now? Where are you located?
Mooresville, North Carolina.
Mooresville, okay.
Cool.
So after,
I actually lived in northern Indiana for till about 4 months ago, and that's where the dedication deal comes back in. I moved all of the racing deal.
well, I feel sorry for your Indianapolis Colts Sunday night coming up.
Yeah.
New England's just going to kill them. New England's just going to kill them. Yeah, they will. New England will kill them. So you can actually race on Saturday afternoon and be home in time for trick or treat, right?
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose that.
I mean, I'm just trying to plan your weekend for you.
Yeah.
You know.
Race get over about 4. You know, 2-hour drive. I'll be home at 6.
Yeah, you'll be good.
No, heck, I'll have time to spare.
You can either do that, or you can bring a bunch of candy to Martinsville.
And Al,
And look for this guy named Al.
Al will help you out with it.
I'll come by the hall and introduce myself, and I'll get some. I like the little
sure
Snickers
yet.
bars. Just some little Snickers bars.
But unless he's wearing a costume, don't give him any candy. So.
Ooh.
Hey, people claim I'm in costume all the time.
I mean, how many times have you been to Martinsville in October around Halloween time? And there's some characters that get dressed up out there.
Yeah. Anyway, well, listen.
Fun race to hit.
Yeah. So you got Martinsville, and you got Phoenix, and you're done for the year. So, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yep.
Now you got an In-N-Out Burger partner at
Oh man, In-N-Out Burger. I wish I might go to Phoenix. I'm still debating whether to go to Phoenix. Just, man.
Drive it or fly it.
I normally fly.
Get sponsored by him.
Yeah. And the other place you got to go in Phoenix, you may have heard about it. There's a place called T-Bones. It's a steakhouse. When you leave the racetrack and you're driving back toward town, the big mountain where all... Have you been to Phoenix ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The big mountain where all the red radio TV signal lights are?
Yeah, it's like out of turn 2, right?
Yeah. Well, no. One... Kind of over turn 3 area, sort of. As you're going back to town, it's on the right side, way up on the mountain. There's a steakhouse up there under those lights called T-Bones. You have got to go, make your crew or your family or whomever, make them take you to T-Bones for dinner on either Thursday night or Friday night or whenever you're there. But T-Bones up under the red lights, you'll thank me for it when you see me again.
All right.
I'm serious.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll hit her up. I'll definitely go there. I like food, so that's good.
I mean, anybody that likes In-N-Out Burger and gives you suggestions on T-Bones has got to know what he's talking about.
Yep. If you like, I'm pretty much anyone like In-N-Out Burger. That's tried it. So, you can't use that.
Yeah, and Martinsville hot dogs, obviously, you don't have to even talk about it. Yeah, they're good. Okay. All right, we can let him go.
Yeah, I'll get up with you later, JJ. I might have a plan for you on at Martinsville or something to have fun with.
That works.
All right, we might even invite Al if he's a nice.
Not unless you're going to feed me.
Hey, the steak place out there.
I don't go back into town. When I leave the track, I go south. Sorry. You mean Clarence's?
No, not Clarence's.
Oh, in town.
Yeah, it's
I don't go in town.
Oh, jeez.
Michael's.
No, it's not Michael's either.
Anyway.
Anywho.
Say goodnight.
Good night, JJ.
See you all later.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. There you go. Go get you trained on
Now,
that.
Al, before your dinner bell goes off, our guest here, Elysia,
Oh yeah, she
has
got
quite a list there of people she'd like to thank. So
Yeah.
we don't want to. I mean, we don't have to stop talking to her yet, but we got to make sure she has time to give her shout outs here. So
Yeah, give all your
I don't know
sponsors
if you
there.
had any other questions or anything like that you're going to throw at her.
Champions Against Bullying, Rev Racing, Langley Speedway, Peninsula Town Center, AK Performance, Salino Electric, Big Belly's Barbecue, Stillwell Racing, Casey Kane Digital Photography, G&G Cycle Works, Greg Merritt's Paint, Helping Kids Make Our Heart Race, Fiberglass Customs, Potter's Motorsports, and Kane's Plumbing. Shout out to my little brother Dalton, and happy birthday to my Meemaw Chick Chick.
All right.
Now that's what you call a list of sponsors. Now
Zip it through it.
somebody's busy out there beating the bushes looking for somebody to sponsor a car. It sounds like that's a lot of sponsors.
It's the Sirloin House of Martinsville is what I was talking about, Al.
Did you ever get that Gordon fan over there?
The one
I
person
wanted to-
that had a Gordon fan says they don't use Periscope. He has Gordon everything.
Oh.
What was it?
I wanted Al to give his highlights of his interview with Jeff
We'll
Gordon
do
last
it
week.
next week.
Okay.
Do it next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Things won't change, and the story will be the same. The lives are as good then as they are now.
You better tell that person
He's
to
got a
get,
mind like a steel trap, so I'm
get
assuming
Periscope
he'll remember
on
it
their
a
phone.
week later.
because Al was going to take and interview him because he has to write an article for Autoweek about Jeff Gordon. He's already done the Jeff Gordon interview, but his boss says, I need you to talk to at least one super fan.
Yep, I need one Super Gordon fan.
All right,
He's going to
William.
get their name in a national magazine
Yeah, you might even get your name in a
Potentially.
national magazine.
as a super fan.
Anyway.
Anyway.
If you have trouble, I have one.
All
right.
I might need one.
Okay.
Like-
Okay.
Glad we had everybody with us tonight on Let's Talk Racing, and we'll catch everybody next week.